Wing King, motherfucker!
Molly, purple sex.
Wing King, chicken wings with a kick. Stop being a little bitch.
Gotta rep the set.
I ain't really changed, it's the same old rebel. Still a radical, I'm passionate, it's just another level. AT told me I should fight back, they don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft. BJ told me I should fight back, they don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft.
What up, everybody in the YTBC? So Jarrell Miller decided that he was going to interrupt the face-off between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin. Did make for quite the exciting press conference, quite the exciting announcement for DAZN, you know, the official announcement, the price, and, you know, who some of the fighters in the stable are at this point in time. And, you know, it definitely made things interesting. And whether or not this is legitimate, who knows? I mean, is Eddie Hearn Eddie Vince McMahon Hearn now? Could very well be the case. Now, as far as Jarrell Miller, here's some thoughts that I have if this was just something that Jarrell Miller took upon himself to do because he wants to have a title shot toward Anthony Joshua. Well, it's really all just lip service. It's lip service. It's Jarrell Miller trying to get a title shot without putting himself in position to do so. Because at the end of the day, just because he gets into Anthony Joshua's face doesn't mean that he's going to get an Anthony Joshua fight. Now, like I said, everything I'm talking about is if Jarrell Miller did this on his own and is ultimately trying to take a shortcut to getting that title shot. See, when it comes to Jarrell Miller, just some of the things that he had said and done in recent months just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He said that he wants the Anthony Joshua fight now, but yet he refuses to go to Bulgaria to fight Pulev, and he didn't really show a whole lot of interest in fighting Andy Ruiz. Now, an Andy Ruiz fight doesn't guarantee him a fight with Anthony Joshua by any means, but it does help build a case if he were to fight Ruiz and beat him, because Ruiz has only lost once, and that was to Joseph Parker in his title fight. That's something that Jarrell Miller does not have under his belt, is any title fight. Now, yes, Andy Ruiz did lose, but some people felt that he beat Parker. And at the end of the day, I think Andy Ruiz will give most of the heavyweights in the division problems right now. He has some of the fastest hands in the heavyweight division right now. So, you know, he beat Kevin Johnson. When was it? It was either last weekend or the weekend before. He called out Jarrell Miller, and Miller, he wants no part of it. Apparently, just because when he called out Ruiz Jr. a couple years ago, Ruiz Jr. didn't take to the fight because he was getting in a fight with Joseph Parker. Can you really blame Ruiz for passing up Miller for Parker, who was the WBO heavyweight champion at the time? I don't think you can really hold that against him. I think it's obvious the choice that anybody would take. Not only was it a title fight, but I'm pretty sure the money was bigger than what he would have got for fighting Jarrell Miller. Jerome Miller has been able to get himself positioned okay right now. You know, he's definitely in the heavyweight championship conversation, but that's all it is at this point in time. It's just a conversation. There's still more that he would need to do in order to solidify a title shot. But when he's not willing to go to, you know, other places, including to fight Anthony Joshua, from what I'm hearing, and he's not willing to fight the other legitimate threats in the heavyweight division, well, Jerome Miller, if you never get that title shot, it's your own damn fault. Stop acting like a big baby. Stop acting like a big asshole. And it really pains me to say this stuff, because Jerome Miller, like I said in my last Jerome Miller video, I actually had pretty high hopes for him. I was liking what I was seeing. I was liking what he was doing. And my criticisms of him is strictly toward his behavior in the last couple months, because in all honesty, as a person, he's a pretty good guy. You know, he has a fan that is a cancer patient, you know, struggling with cancer. And, you know, he actually spends time with her. You know, he probably talks to her on the phone quite often. From what I understand, that's what it appears to be. And, you know, it's really lifted her spirits. If I'm not mistaken, she actually trains in his gym, you know, and a lot of times when you have either a disease or a medical condition, a lot of times your attitude, where you are mentally, has great effects on whatever is ailing you. So I know that has to be good for her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, you know, just being in a good mood cures all diseases. I'm not saying that by any chance, by any means, I mean, but it definitely helps. People who are in good spirits tend to improve on their health, depending on what it is, more than people who are depressed all the time. So I think Jerome Miller, he's a good guy at heart. But when it comes to this, like I said, if this was him just trying to take a shortcut to Anthony Joshua, well, I certainly hope that Anthony Joshua just denies him. Because that doesn't warrant a title fight. You know what does? When you go over to another guy's country and you whoop that ass, and you take the position, that's what gets you the title fights. Not only that, but it gets you international exposure. Now, of course, if you go over to Bulgaria and you beat the shit out of Pulev and you win, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Bulgarians who are not going to like you, but that shit's going to happen to you in the States. Do you not think that if you were to go over to Alabama and beat Deontay Wilder, there's going to be a bunch of people who ain't going to like you? Of course. There's plenty of fanboys and tribalism and people who are just proud of what city or state or whatever that they're from. But that's just going to be how it is anywhere. But Miller, I think you got some growing up to do in your decisions that you make in regards to your career. I think that you went from crawling to walking to running. Now you're back to crawling. And you're just going to crawl yourself into obscurity. That is, unless this was a stunt and Eddie Hearn has promised you a title fight. In which case, you do what you do. If that's what was promised to you, then I can't knock it, because you're only putting yourself in position for that title fight. You're just using a different avenue. So all my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, you let me know what you think. Was this a publicity stunt? Do you think Jarrell Miller punked Anthony Joshua? That's one of the things that I'm seeing a lot of. If that's how you feel, fair enough. I just find that is a narrative, and that's just my opinion. I mean, you can explain to me why you say that he punked Joshua. My only question to you is, and you don't even have to answer this to me. Answer this to yourself, and answer it honestly. If it was Deontay Wilder at a press conference against his next opponent, and Jarrell Miller did the same exact thing, and Wilder reacted very similarly, would you be saying that Wilder is getting punked? Would you say that Wilder was getting his whole card pulled? If the answer is no, then I have to question where you're coming, where you're coming at, or where you're coming from with that statement. But if it is, I would say that he was getting punked, then hey, big ups to you for consistency. If it happened to Wilder, I wouldn't say that he got punked. I mean, if a guy disrespects you and you get all up in his face, pointing your finger in his face and telling him that he needs to watch his mouth, I don't really think that's being punked. Now, if he would have just ignored it, that could be taken as being punked, or it could be taken as, well, I'm the champ here. You ain't even worth my time. There's a lot of ways you can spin things. But anyways, you let me know what you think about that situation in the comments section below. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
Undefeated.